Okay, day number 4. I can feel myself every day releasing a little bit more, letting go and really being here, being in the present. I think that's one of the main reasons I come up here. To know that this forest that you see goes on for miles and miles and miles in every direction. And that the only way anybody can get here is either by foot or on horseback. So there is absolutely zero chance I'm going to hear anything mechanized except for maybe a plane. And one of the things that I forget unless I'm here is the sound. The wind through the trees is an amazing sound, and I wish I could reproduce it. Today it's been cloudy, and so it's been dark and light, and when the clouds come over the sun, this forest gets really spooky. It gets like fairy tale forest, and I love to walk in the forest when it's like that. And because of the sound of the wind through the trees or the water through the stream, I find myself a lot of times stopping whatever I'm doing and listening, because your brain is trying to figure out what it's listening to. Because I hear children laughing, I hear dogs barking, I hear bells, I hear women talking, I hear all this stuff, and it's just barely out of earshot. And I think it's just my brain trying to figure out what are these sounds, all this white noise going on. And it's been completely moonless at night. And so at nighttime it gets really dark. And every time you hear any sound, whether it's just a mouse or anything, any kind of creature, it gets really spooky. Today there's been a couple of crows cawing back and forth at each other over the campsite. And there's been a couple of hawks circling in the meadow. There's one sound I forgot to mention that I probably wouldn't remember if I didn't mention it now. But right about now, just about sunset, I like to come out here and take my chair and sit out and look out over this meadow here. And you probably can't hear it on this because the microphone's probably not subtle enough. But you can hear this buzzing sound. And it's at such a level that it feels like when you're really still and really quiet and the wind dies down completely, it sounds like you're being surrounded by bees. But it's just that things are so quiet, if there are any flies around or any buzzing little insects, it just gets magnified. And there's an insect I should mention, I probably wouldn't remember if I didn't mention it. There are these flies that look and sound like little bees or little hornets, but they're not, they're flies, and they jump around from flower to flower, pollinating the flowers, and they're totally harmless, they don't bite and they don't sting. And they come over and check you out. And they're just really pretty. Anyway, that's another sound that I want to remember. Well, this is called Sand Meadow. This is day 5, by the way. Emotionally, the negative subconscious crap is starting to float to the surface. I woke myself up screaming this morning. That's the kind of emotional and mental cleansing that goes on. This plateau, as far as I can tell, I'm the only one here. And probably 35 miles away from any real civilization. Still day 5. I've got another 7 days before I go home. Got back from my hike, had some lunch, took care of some necessary things around here, just got up from a nap, and it's right about now that I start thinking, yeah, I think now's a good time to go home. I got another 7 days of this. It's amazing to me that we can spend 40 years at the same job, 40 hours a week doing something, staying with the same person for years and years and years, and yet being alone in the wilderness, in real reality, we can't do very much of that for very long. So this is why I do this, why I bring myself up here and force myself to stay, because it forces me out of those old thinking patterns so that I can get to something more substantial, more real. Anyway, more tomorrow.